Stbwrld Media, and this your boy, Take Gutter. Okay. Do you force yourself to create through writer's block, or do you step away and come back later? Um, Most of the time, I will literally step back. You know, I'm not a big forcing it type of dude because I feel like with the right music and with the right sound, like sometimes you gotta take a step back. You gotta give yourself some time away from it because you can force it, and when you force it, it'll come out as unauthentic, or it may not sound as good as you want it to sound, or even sometimes you get to the point to where it'll sound repetitive, like stuff that you already created. So me, I like to kind of take a step back. Sometimes it may be an hour, 2 hours. Sometimes it might be 2, 3 days. I even done it sometimes where it might be a month. I had a song that I didn't complete until a month later, but when I completed it, that following month, they won it. What was the first song you ever recorded, and how did it make you feel? First song I ever recorded was I recorded a song called Biggie 2.0 in 2001. I was in Atlanta. That was the first time I had ever been into like a real studio. I had been in home studios before, and I thought that I kind of knew what I was doing. It was my first time going into a real big studio, like an actual major label studio, and I did the song. And let's just say I was pleasantly surprised at the difference in the sound. Um, even the feedback from the engineer, he was like, "Look, man," he was like, "Man, you really like you got something, man." He was like, "Man, you need to stick with this. Why you ain't been doing this longer?" And I was like, "I have. I just been freestyling, but this is the first time I have been in a real like big studio." So yeah, it made me feel real good. What does secure the bag mean to you? That means to me, literally, the bag come first. I mean, we do music for love. We do everything we do for love. You know, if it's a passion, you're gonna do it for love. But at the end of the day, if I can do something that I love and make money, I want to make some money doing it. So securing the bag means always making sure that the avenues that I have to either make money with my music, make money from my music, or that allows me to fund my music, that I continue to do that, and I don't lose sight of it. Whether that's the hustle, the everyday hustle, whether it's 9 to 5, whether it's pushing my Spotify, pushing my Apple Music, pushing the different avenues that I have. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I secure that bag first. A lot of artists are inspired by people before them. Who inspired you to become the artist you are today? How did it make you? How did that make? How did you make that influence on your own? So probably a lot different from a lot of artists. My influence came from one of my biggest influences in my life, which is my cousin. My oldest cousin Nick was the first person that I had seen like face to face that was rapping, and this is in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, my cousin Raw, man, like he dope. Like he was cool, knew how to dress. Like the girls wanted him. You know, so for me, it was like, man, I want to do that. I always wanted to kind of be like him. So, you know, just to take my influence came from him, and then that ended up shaping me into who I am because I took a little bit of him and I made it me. You know, so I think I was natural for it because I always had a way with words. I always been a poet. I always been a writer. So it was, it was a beautiful thing when I first put something together that was a rap, and I could say, "Cuz, listen to this, listen to this." And he heard it, and he was like, all right, you all right. He was like, "You ain't better than me, but you all right." So yeah, that was major for me. When you're creating music, do you prefer being alone in the studio or having a team around? Personally, cousin or my brother with me, one of my brothers with me, and that's probably about it. Like I've never had in the studio more than like two, three people, unless all of the people there are making music. I don't like to have an entourage. I don't like to have multiple people around because sometimes people sap your energy. So for me, it's big on. I'm really big on like making sure that the energy is doing what it's supposed to do. So when I'm in the studio, I'm able to give my all and not worry about somebody looking or judging or why he did this or why he did that. So for me, it's literally me, my engineer, and maybe a brother or a cousin or a family member. If not them, it's somebody that's making music with me, a feature, or if I'm doing something together with more than one person. Why do you think it's so hard for upcoming artists when they have to pay for studio time, music videos, marketing, and everything else that comes with building a career? Um, I honestly don't think it's hard. I don't think it's hard at all. I think the hardest thing is starting and being consistent. And I think that's the difference between a lot of artists that are struggling artists and artists that are major artists. Major artists have been through a lot. They've gone through a lot. They've done a lot. They have persevered through a lot to get to where they are. And when you're an individual that's working, that has life, whether that's kids, that's family, you have your own hustle and bustle, and then you have this dream that you have. A lot of times we lose sight of being consistent with the dream because we'll get so complacent in the fact of, man, I gotta work, man, I gotta do this, and it's like I was watching AB on his Twitch, and he was telling Demon Great, he was like, look, man, I don't got time to stay up, because I gotta run in the morning. I ain't got time for this because I gotta do this, So I make sure that I never lose focus of the fact that at the end of the day, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I know that musically I want to make it, but the goal is not really to make it. I don't want to make it in the sense of being a signed artist. I want to make it so I can do this and not have to work again. So as long as I'm creating, as long as I'm pushing, as long as I'm doing those things and staying consistent in it, then eventually it's gonna pop. Even if it's 7, 8, 9 years from now. How do you stay consistent when you don't feel like working? Um, I kind of just answered that. I stay consistent because I don't lose focus, man. I don't lose focus on what the goal is. The goal is always to um, be able to be financially free doing music. It's something that I love. It's something that I enjoy. So why not? You know what I mean? So in order to do that, I have to make sure that I am focused on the goal, and the goal is to keep making music, keep pushing my music, and keep being creative. Find creative ways to make content with it, And I think that's one of the things that, as an artist, a lot of us aren't getting into. We just think that okay, you make the music, you make a video, and that's content. But there are creative ways that you can make content and use your music in creating that content without it being look like a shameless plug, so to speak. You don't have to do BTS for your video. You don't have to do a video shoot. You don't have to have girls twerking. You can have a classy woman walking and she's listening to your music, and that's content. So thinking of ways outside of the box to make your content relatable to more than just your individual audience is what's going to take your music to the next level. Does the beat choose your flow, or do you already have one in mind? So it kind of go both ways for me. Sometimes I can listen to a beat and I kind of know where I want to go with it, musically, cadence wise. Um, I already kind of have a rhythm in my head, but then sometimes I'll write a song and I don't have a beat in mind, and then I actually find a beat that fits it. So it's kind of 50-50, depending on the beat. I got this dude that I work with now called Beats by Sal, and he give me that Flint, Michigan, Detroit type sound. So when I hear his beats, I already kind of know where I want to go with with those. But then I have other people, like I got um, Dante Beats, which is he's in Russia, and he's really good. And when I listen to his beats, sometimes I got to write to his beats. So it's kind of 50-50. When you're choosing a beat, what has to be there before you know it's the one? That's a good one. For one, because I'm in the South, it has to be a beat that has that iconic sound. Like right now, I'm working on something that got it has the 400 degrees like interpolated in it, and like when I heard the beat, I knew. I was like, yeah, this gonna be one right here. So I recorded it, and now I think I want to go back and re-record it because I want it to be perfect. Because I know when I drop this, it's definitely gonna do what it's supposed to do. So yeah, like sometimes it just gotta have that iconic sound. Whether it's a song that brings back that nostalgic feeling, like 400 Degrees, or if it's a newer song, and just give you that get up and go. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen to Boss Man D-Lo beats, you hear his beats, you already know where you're going with it. You're going to the trap. So it's kind of, it's kind of up in the air, but definitely the beat has to have an iconic feel for me. I don't know about everybody else. And then sometimes you want that mellow beat, but that mellow beat still has to have an iconic feel that makes the song sound larger than life. If you could only listen to three artists for the rest of your life, who would you choose? Um, the first artist that I would choose, even though I'm from Florida, I'm a big fan of Jay Z, so I can listen to Jay Z any day. And then my second individual that I listen to is from my second favorite place, which would be Atlanta, and that's T.I. Um, from from the first one, I'm Serious, all the way to the current album, I could listen to T.I. all day because to me he was like the Jay Z of the South. And then my third favorite person to listen to is Trick. I love Trick. I think Trick is one of the most underrated Southern artists that a lot of people didn't want to give him the credit that he's due. I think Trick definitely is lyricist. He definitely has a iconic sound, and he was one of them people that like when I heard Trick, I already knew that I was gonna get a banger from him. So yeah, that's probably the three I listen to. What's one quote you live by? And this is funny. One quote I live by is by Maya Angelou. She has a saying or a quote that says, "When people show you who they are, believe them." And that's something I live by because I don't give people a second chance to mess me over twice. You get one strike with me, man, and if you show me that you're disloyal, you show me that you're not that individual that's looking out for my best interest, and I'm gonna cut you off and I'll leave you right there. You don't get another chance. So for me, that's what I live by. When people show you who they are, believe them, and that's for everybody. You should definitely be believing them because there's no individual in this world that's gonna say that they mean you no harm and they harm you. For women out there, for man telling you that he loves you and he beating you, that don't make sense. He already showed you what he gonna do. So why is you giving him another opportunity to do the same thing twice? What's one hidden talent you have? My hidden talent is I actually can sing. I really don't. I don't sing much just because of the fact that I'm really, 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 really nervous. It's real intimate for me. Um, but for those who have heard me sing, they can hear a little bit. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, yeah, he could do this one too. So I definitely think that music has always been there. I was actually in chorus, um, like when I was in middle school and in high school. High school, I was just sitting there just to give me an easy grade, but at middle school, I was more into trying to sing, and I guess it kind of stuck, or maybe it been natural. I don't know, but yeah, that's one of my hidden talents. What's something artists waste money on? everything, studio time. But I want to say I waste money on studio time. But one of the things that artists waste money on to me is empty content, especially videos. I'm a big believer in not making videos for every song. I allow the people to dictate what songs I'm going to make a video to. Um, those songs that have the most traction, those songs that have um, the largest followings, likes, comments, shares, plays on Spotify, um, YouTube, as well as Apple Music. Those are the songs that I'm going to do visuals on or make a video. Now, I may use content for other songs, and possibly that content could be video type, but it's not an actual video. So for me, I don't like to waste that. So I'm not going to waste money on having somebody to shoot my video, and it may go on blind eyes and deaf ears. You know, so. And one of your lyrics, you said, "I don't trust a hoe, but I'll fuck it up." When fans hear that line, what do you think they hopefully understand about what you meant? That simply means like straight up, you know, I don't really trust too much. You know, it's kind of it's hard for you to get on to the innermost part of me. So, you know, we can mess around, we can do what we do, but that don't mean that like you mine. You know what I'm saying? So I can, you know, I can rock with you. We can go out, we can date, we can have fun, we can do the grown up. But that don't mean I trust you. You know, trust come real hard for me because I've been messed over so many times. I don't even see myself just out looking for it like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, man, like we could do what we do, but yeah, you ain't about to be old lady like that because I don't know what your motivation is. You know, sometimes people have different motivations. So for me, yeah, that's what I mean by that. Were you always good with words, or was rapping what helped you find your voice? Um, I was always been a person that's been good with words. I always been smart. I always was the reader, the person that when we talking about like actually like doing what's supposed to be done in class, I was that. You know what I'm saying? I was an A and B student in school. I just had behavior issues. That was my thing. I was bad as hell. So, you know, because I was bad, that caused me to like lose a lot. You know what I mean? And then when I got into high school, I'm playing football. I became a little more popular. So, you know, those things forced me to be like, yeah, you know, I think I want to do something else. And then I had figured out that I could rap, and I started rapping in lunchroom, and yeah, it kind of took off from there. So once it got there, like especially like dudes from like I went to school with a lot of dudes from New York, and they used to always want to battle during lunch, and I was one of the few dudes from the South that wasn't scared to battle, and I had to have words because those niggas had words, similes, metaphors, and I had to learn how to do the same. Who are you outside of music? It's a good question. Outside of music, I am chill, laid back. You know, I'm a hustler. I gotta go get me some money. And anybody that know me know that. They know like, man, listen, gotta go get some paper. Um, I am a role model. I coach football. Um, I also work. I'm a manager at my job. Um, I'm just a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm any dude that you'll see on the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm him. I'm not. I'm very confident. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think I'm arrogant. But I am very much just a regular guy, man. I ain't nothing too much over here. You know what I mean? You can approach me just like you approach anybody else. So yeah. How important are visuals to building your brand as an artist? Visuals are very important, and they're very important because visuals allow people to see you. Um, More than the voice behind the music, because the voice may sound great, but people want to buy into you. They want to buy into the person. So in order for them to buy into the person, they have to see who you are. You know what I mean? Whether that's fat, black, ugly, nasty, and all that. You know what I'm saying? You got to be that. You know what I'm saying? And be okay with being that. Um, Rio, the young OG, maybe not be the most physically or visibly aesthetic person to some people, but he has a look that's iconic and people like him. So yeah, the visuals are very important. Whether it's pictures, whether it's actual videos, whether it's art, whatever. Definitely the visuals is what's going. The visuals are gonna last to me almost as long as the music, because when I'm long gone and I'm 100 years old, you can look back and see this, but when I'm 100, you're gonna see me as I'm 100. But you'll look back and you can be like, dang, that's what you look like back then. Yeah, I want always old and wrinkled. What's the biggest mindset shift that you've had? The biggest mindset shift I've had is actually um, being consistent, but also having the mindset to be confident and live with um, my mistakes. I make mistakes daily. I make mistakes in music. Um, I made mistakes parenting. I made mistakes choosing the women in my life. But I've had to come to the point to where I live with it and be comfortable with it and understand that that's a part of living and growing. You know, in life, I think a lot of us, we so hard on ourselves, and I'm one of them. We so hard on ourselves that we forget that, like, hey, listen, like, it happens. Players mess up too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you recorded a song and it took you 2 hours. Normally it take you 30 minutes. It's alright. It's okay. You made the song. The song's good. You're good. But I'll find a way to critique myself and sometimes take myself out of my own game. So I had to find a way to stay grounded and not allow myself to crash out over that type of stuff. So that's probably the biggest mindset shift I've had. If someone has never heard your music before, how would you describe your sound? Um, my sound is raspy. My sound is gutter. My sound is very confident, braggadocious, but very passionate. Um, my sound is definitely one for all people, all walks of life. Whether you a hustler, whether you a lady looking for a man, man looking for a lady. I got different types of music that I do. Um, but most importantly, you know what I mean? I think the one thing that I can say is that I'm a musician, and music brings people together. So it doesn't matter how I sound, you'll find a way to like me because I'm a very likable person. If a major label offered you a deal today, what would you look for before signing? Anybody that know me, they already know I don't care for like a major label. I don't care. Um, Honestly, I would rather be independent and just have major funding. So if a major label came to me with funding, I want creative control. I want to be able to own my masters, and I want to make sure that I'm able to own majority of my royalties. Understanding that I have to give some of that up to producers, understanding that some of that's going to go to co-producers, and they have ways of putting other people in on your music. But I want to keep as much of my money as I can. So if I was to get major funding, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for ways that they can try to keep me signed for longer than I want to be signed, because I don't want to sign 7, 8 album deal. Like, you got 2 albums out me, and after that, I want to be able to find the best opportunity for me then. So yeah, definitely that is what I'll be looking for if major